This video is going to show you some of the simple features in the Keynote app on your iPad. Keynote is a presentation tool. It's a part of the iWork series, and Keynote is similar to PowerPoint, which you've used before on your computers. When you open up Keynote, the first thing you see are all the presentations that you've created, so you can always access them or show them to someone. To get started, we're going to click on the plus sign in the upper left-hand corner, and we're going to create a new presentation. You have several themes to choose from. I'm just going to select white. And when this opens up, there's automatically a picture that has appeared. I don't really want to use this picture, but I'm going to use it for an example. When I double-click on the image, I get this mask option, and what this allows me to do is to actually do some cropping. So if I had an image and I only wanted to show part of it, if I only wanted the one face, I could do some cropping by double-clicking and hitting the masking. I'm actually not going to use this picture, so if I tap, I could always delete it, but instead of deleting, I'm just going to say replace, because there is another image that I'd like to put in there, which is on my photo stream. So if I come through my photo stream, I can find the image that I'd like to use, someone who might be more familiar to you, and I can stretch and I can tilt and twist and do whatever I'd like with that image. I don't really need this box right now, so I'll delete it. But on this text box, I'm going to type the name. So we'll put Ms. Brigham there. And once I have that typed, I can select the text box, and I'm going to go up to this paintbrush object in the top right. And when I open that, I have different options. If I look at my text, I can click on the text and I can bold it. I can center, align. I can italicize it if I want. If I click under the font size, I also have the option to change the color of the font, and I can also change the type of font I want to use. So once I've done that, I can move it exactly where I'd like to go. Now the problem is that I really did want to put some bullets in a text box, but I deleted my text box. So to get a text box, I click again on the plus sign, and this is where I found my images, but notice there's also tables that can be used for Keynote. You can put in all different types of charts. The text box is in a funny place. It's in the shapes. And just to note that there are different shapes and different colors of shapes that you can choose from. I'm going to select the T here, which stands for text. This also is where you can find arrows, by the way. So when I get my text, it's right over here on the image, I'm going to go ahead and start typing some bullet points that I'd like to put in there. So I've got my bullet points, but they don't look like bullet points. So let's go ahead and click under my brush, and I can again change the size. If I want to make it larger, I can make it larger. If I want to change the color, let's change the color. Let's make that bold as well, and let's have that align on the left side, not centered. Now to get bullet points, I scroll down and you can see the option now is for my bullets. So I now have my bullets there. I'm going to add a new slide. To do that, I go to the bottom left and there's a plus sign, and I have different types of slides that I can use. This looks like PowerPoint. I'm going to do a blank slide right now, and I'm going to add 2 images. So let me go to my media, I'll go to my camera roll and scroll down, and let's grab this image, and let's also grab another image of Mr. Boyer. So I now have 2 images, and what I can do with these images is I can tilt them and turn them. And notice that Mr. Boyer's image is on top of Miss Landis's image. Just to show you how we can change that, if I select Mr. Boyer's image and if I go up to the paintbrush, it's an image, and so if I click here, what I can do is move it to the back. So now Miss Landis's image is in front. So if that was important, that's what I can do. I'm going to take 2 fingers and I'm going to tap on both of the images. So when I do that, it selects both of them and it allows me to then group the images. And this is a feature you've used before, and it has some great uses so you can combine and move things more easily. Now I do need some text there, so I'm going to go back to my plus sign. I'm going to go to my shapes, grab a text, and I'm going to type Miss Landis's name. All right, and I could do the same thing to get a text box for Mr. Boyer. Whoops, let's try that again. But I'm going to do a shortcut there. I'm going to take this text and I'm simply going to tap once so that I can copy it. So now after I've copied it and I tap over here, I can paste. So now all I have to do is to change the name without going back and saying plus, shapes, and finding that. So now I have my 2 text boxes and I could change the styles, but I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to click on both of them and I'm going to group them. If you want to ungroup it, you just do the same thing. Tap and it gives you the option to ungroup. We don't use animation very much. Actually, we kind of discourage students from using a lot of animation because our presentations can sometimes not be enhanced, but they can become distractions if there's a lot of animation. But I am going to show you how that works. When I select the object, I click on Animate. I can animate in or out. Currently there was nothing animated. And let's just select flashbulbs here. Okay, and I'm going to say Done. So I've got my 2 slides, but I notice now that, gee, I never put in a title slide. So let's get a title slide. Plus, and we'll tap My Teachers. And it's always good not just to put your name in, but you should also date things. And I'll just put the year here. And you know that you could change the color, the font size, and all of those things as well. But if you notice over here on my slide sorter, it's the 3rd slide. So I'm just going to click and hold with my finger and move it to where I actually want it to go, because it should be the 1st slide. Now, another option that you have is under the wrench, you have something called Presenter Notes. Now, Presenter Notes allows you to type whatever it is you want to say when you're reading that slide. And when you show this to your audience, your PowerPoint, they do not see the notes, only you do. They only see the slide. So that's a really neat feature. So let's check out our presentation. I'm going to click on this arrow on the right, and to move from one to the next, I just tap and we can see how that light bulbs goes off for their names. So I'm all finished and it saves automatically. You don't have to save this. How do you share it with someone? Well, I can click on the wrench and I can say share and print, and I can go ahead and email my presentation. I can email it as a PowerPoint or a PDF or a Keynote. And it depends on who you're sending it to. If you're sending it to somebody to open on an iPad, you would send it as a Keynote. If you would send it to somebody to just print it for the information, you could send it as a PDF. If you're sending it to somebody using a computer who has Microsoft, you would save it or send it as a PowerPoint. So that's how easy that is to save it, to share it. Now, if I come back to my presentations, notice that this has no name down here. It's just called Presentation 2. So I'm going to tap on the name, and when I tap on the name, I can give it a title. So I'll just call it My Teachers. And the other thing that's important to know is how to get rid of presentations that you no longer need. I'm going to click on the upper right corner on Edit. Everything's wobbling. I'm going to select the presentation. There's a yellow box around it, and I'm going to hit the garbage can. And it asks, yes, delete presentation, and now it's deleted. So the question now is, I've got all my presentations here, but the question is, what happens if my iPad would be stolen, lost, broken? What happens to my presentations? Your presentations are saved on the iPad. So what you want to do is to go to your settings, and on the left side, I'm going to scroll down until I can find my Keynote app. And when I click on it, on the right side, I have an iCloud account. I want to make sure that I have iCloud on. That way, if I would lose my iPad, if something broke, I could replace it and I could go to the iTunes store and I could look at my purchased apps, and when I download my Keynote app, it would have all of my presentations with it. So you do want to be sure to do that. iCloud is an Apple product, so it works with the iWorks apps, namely Keynote. Clearly, Dropbox is not an Apple product, and they are not right now allowing us to use Dropbox with it. So play around. There are many other features in the Keynote presentations that you can use. And if you, again, go under the wrench, there are advanced tools that let you put numbers on your slides, and you can add interactive links. There's many other things you can do, and you can look at those on your own. Thank you.